Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter preview of Tumble, a game designed by Kevin Russ that is currently on Kickstarter and hopefully soon to be published by Weird Giraffe Games. As usual, Carla Kopp has come up with an interesting solo bot for us to have a look at, so let's get down to business. So here's a game of Tumbletown all set up. Basically, there are going to be 3 market rows, one with a cactus deck, and then 2 cacti, and then 3 cacti. These are all the building plans that we can choose to build, and we're going to do it by acquiring dice that we roll and hopefully we'll use to meet particular specifications on the cards. For example, some have certain die values they're looking for, while others, such as this one up here that has a 9+, wants the sum of all the dice in the cards to add up to 9. Each of the cards also comes with different rewards. So these sort of tan background rewards are things that you can do every single turn to manipulate the dice you roll. So it's good to get some of these lower level buildings and then use them to get the dice you need down the line. The gray bonuses here are one-time benefits. So here you'll get 1 die of a brown, gray, or black color one time. Here you'll get 3 tokens that are basically dice of any value that you can use at various points of the game. And then up here we have these gold cards, and what these are going to do is give you end of game scoring benefits. So, for example, this will give you 3 victory points for every pair of dice that's in your storage. These will actually give you points for different features that are on the card. So for example, this cactus, if you pay attention, several of the cards have cacti on them. And so you might, for example, get a scoring condition like the one with the church, and then pick up a bunch of different buildings that have cacti on them, in addition to paying attention to the standard victory points in the top left corner. You'll also notice that we have a horse here, and we don't see, this is the AI players section. So this is the Outlaw, which we'll be working with. But our horse, I've just left the symbol visible because it's a solo game. There's no reason to hide the symbol. So we know that we are also looking to get cards that have this pink pickaxe symbol on them. We don't know what this guy's going to get a bonus for, so we're just going to have to hope for the best. The other thing that the Outlaw needs at the beginning of the game is 3 dice from the supply over here, and we're going to roll these every time the Outlaw has a turn, and I'll show you how that works momentarily. Other things to notice in the setup, we also have a storehouse where we can keep dice. We have a gold pan, which can be used any number of times to convert dice to other types. And then we have Main Street over here, and what Main Street does is it basically gives you an extra way to score some points. You can play without it, that is an option, but basically as we combine dice to do these building plans, once we've built different edifices, we can put the dice over here and score based on whether we've managed to place them in ways that meet the conditions of Main Street. So here we have plot with matching requirements and 1 plot space between buildings. So we want to match the requirements along here and leave little 1 building spaces in between our buildings for potential extra points. So as a human player, I'm going to go first, and what that means is that I get to claim a building. So the first thing that you get to do on your turn in single or multiplayer versions of this game is claim a plan. So I'm going to go ahead. I mean, what town doesn't need an outhouse, right? You hear what I'm saying? I'm taking this outhouse, partially just because I think it's funny and I'm that person. It also has one of these lovely pickaxe symbols on it, which I can use to score with my horse. So the outhouse says it's worth 2 points, but it's actually worth 3 to me once I get it built. We'll just go ahead and refill the market. You're only, another outhouse. Excellent. So you're only ever acquiring 1 card per turn. Now we're going to roll some dice. And the dice that we're going to roll are based on the backs of these cards over here. So we have 2 brown dice and 1 die that's brown, gray, or black, my choice. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 brown dice, and then let's see what else I might want. I see a lot of black out here, or different options. So I'm actually going to go ahead and grab a black die because I think it'll come in handy later. Now I'm going to roll the dice. They can't go on your building or in your storehouse until you roll them, so we have to know what value they have. So this actually worked out great because in the outhouse, the dice have to be between 2 and 5 for their values. I have 3 and 3. So my outhouse is going to get built this turn. That was also a 3. So this black 3 will go into my storehouse. So now the outhouse has gone from unbuilt to built, and I get to decide where to put the dice. I can just kind of leave them, or I can put them on my Main Street. And I'm totally putting these dice on Main Street. In fact, I think we're going to take these and we're going to do a stack of exactly 2 dice right here on Main Street. Because you know what? Even Main Street needs a bathroom, okay? So that was our turn. We also get our one-time bonus for building the outhouse. So upon construction, I get to take a die of either gray, black, or brown color. I'm going to take another black one. And that's a 1. So we're going to put it right here. So that is the entirety of my turn. I have acquired a card, I have done my building step, and I handled my supply and discard situation. If your supply fills up, you're going to have to discard dice. You only have a limited amount of space. So there's lots to think about. Now it's time for the outlaw, and they're going to have a turn. So when the outlaw plays, what you do is you roll these 3 dice for them, and the results in these dice are going to tell us what happens. Okay, so in this case, the outlaw has rolled. Let's do it in this order. You'll see why. A 3, a 2, and a 2. That's actually not great for us, but there will be some consequences for the AI to help balance it out. So what's going to happen is, let's start with so basically these dice correspond to rose, brown, gray, black, gold. So here's what's going to happen. This brown die means that we're going to remove the 3rd building over on this row and give it to the AI. They're going to score those points for the building, which is a little scary. And they'll also score for these symbols, so we have to watch it. They're also going to take 3 brown dice. They're going to deplete our supply. So basically the timer on this game is the dice. If at the end of the AI's turn there are 2 or fewer dice in 2 of the dice mines, like the different colors of dice, then the game is over and we're going to score. So we have to get our business done before that happens. With the gray, we're going to come in 2, and they're taking the post office. No, it had my symbol on it. How rude. So what's going to happen here is that we are going to take 3 black dice. Sometimes it's 3 gray, but this card, because this die is black, on some of them it'll be gray, we're going to take 3 black dice. So 3 black dice will be taken. Bummer. And it's going to take the 2 on the gold spot and take 3 gold dice. So that was a huge turn for the AI, like kind of an unfair level turn. That was enormous. I don't even know if I can catch it already. But what's going to happen now is it's going to get a -2 victory points marker. So what that represents in the game is that because it got to build so much, it could not possibly have built all those buildings well. So one of the options that I as a player also have in a game is I can build a building anyway, even if I don't quite meet the requirements, but I have to take a -2 victory point penalty for every die that doesn't meet the criteria on the card. So if I'd really wanted to build an outhouse and I had a die that was a 1, I could have just built a crappier outhouse, ha 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 ha, but I would have had to take -2 victory points, and like that would have erased the point of building the outhouse in the first place. On these higher value cards though, it might be worth it. You have to decide. So let's replenish our little market. Now that the AI has completely wrecked me on turn 1, let's see what I can do. Oh, and before I continue, there's one other good thing about the AI taking so many buildings, which is that it has to return 2 dice to the supply. So normally it'd be just whatever it has the most of, but since we have a tie and it's a 3-way tie, I get to pick. So I'm going to return 1 gold and 1 black back to the mines. So now we're back to me, and let's figure out what to do. Okay. So I'd like to do something interesting and kind of go for some of these golds, but I don't think I'm quite ready yet. I want to get some more die manipulation powers first, just because I feel like that would be more helpful in the long run. Because what's the point of going for those golds if you're taking multiple turns to do it? It'd be better to just use some die manipulation powers to get what I want instead, if I can force it. So I think what I may choose to do, what has a good power? These let you change from one die type to another. These let you adjust the values on your dice, and I really like that. So I think what I may do is go for the Barbershop. That seems like a good idea. So let's go ahead and try to build the Barbershop. I get 2 brown dice, and I'm going to take another black one. So the requirements to build the Barbershop are, so it says A, B, C. That means that I need to have 2 dice that are 2 values in a row, basically. But they can be gray, black, or brown, so I have some choices. Actually, this worked out awesome because I rolled a 2. So I have 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. Let's take the 1 and 2. That seems good. So now I've built my Barbershop, 1, 2, and I can move it over here, and it allows me to adjust any die value, any 1, up by 2 or down by 2. So if I need to, you know, do a little change-a-roo, I can make it happen. So we're going to move it over here. Let's kind of push our main street over to the side a little bit. And then let's decide where to put this one. So if I hit it anywhere I get a point for any plot with matching requirements and for 1 plot spaces between buildings. So I don't have to build things super close together right now. That said, why don't I go ahead and just put this over here? Just an exactly too high spot. That works for me. So now I've got 2 points off of Main Street, 2, 2, and then an extra 1. So I'm at 7 points right now. I'm still getting whooped by the AI, but I'm doing something about it. So that's good. So let's go ahead and replenish what I took. Another outhouse. This is a really clean, sanitary town out here in the West. All right, so let's go ahead and roll the Outlaw Dice. Okay, so this is still not great. They're going to get a couple buildings, but I can show you something new. So here we have a 2. That means that this brown 2, the tailor, is gone from me, and they're going to take 3 brown dice. However, on the gray row, we got a 5, and that means that nothing happens. If they were all 5 or 6s, like all 3 dice, something different would occur. But as it stands, this row is left alone this turn. And then here with the gold, we're going to come over 3, grab the church, which kind of sucks because I think I would have enjoyed having that. They get it for another whopping 6 points, and they get 3 gold dice. So now it's back to me. Let's go ahead and replenish what they took. See if there's anything fun for me to have. Let's see. Do I have anything that might make for an interesting scoring condition? Maybe not yet. I don't have any bird cards and I want to start there. I do have a lot of little plants and cacti and barrels, so I might want to wait for one of those gold cards to come along. All right, so what will I take this time on my turn? Maybe I'm feeling a little more ambitious. I don't know. I think that the blacksmith might actually be a good pick. We need 2 pairs, so that might be hard. But I would like to try to build it because it's extra storage so I can put more dice on and maybe go for that hotel. That seems like a potentially interesting idea. So let's do that. Let's go for the blacksmith first because extra storage is always good. And then we're going to go ahead and take 3 black dice. 1, 2, 3. We'll roll them. Got to roll it before you can do anything. And that actually worked out great because I'm going to be able to build this blacksmith. I rolled 2 6s. Then I rolled a 5. However, with my barbershop power, I can raise 1 die up or decrease 1 by 2. 3 and 5 are 2 apart. Let's just call this a 5. And voila, we have a blacksmith. This is excellent for me because it gives me some extra storage as well as 3 points, so definitely nothing to complain about. And they put a bird on it. Okay, so let's bring this around, and then let's decide if I want to do anything with my blacksmith. I'm not sure there is a good place to put it, to be honest. I don't really think that there is. It's just a little bit too long. But that's okay. I can just leave it in front of here and score for it anyway, so it's really no big deal. You don't have to put something on Main Street, you just choose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the dice. I'm actually just going to leave the dice here. You're really supposed to put them on top, but I'm trying to keep everything in camera view. So I'm just going to leave the dice right here. I'm not going to put them on Main Street because I don't have any good places to put them, which is a bummer, but that's okay. The good news is that I have all this extra storage down here. Also, one time I get 1 brown, 1 gray, and 1 black die to store on my blacksmith, which is also cool. So let's roll them and kind of see what we got. So we have a black 3, we have a brown 3, and we have a gray 5, and we have extra storage space. So I think next turn what I'm going to try to do is grab the hotel, knowing that I can kind of pump up my storage if I can't build a bunch of buildings, and like maybe get some victory points out of that. That seems like a decent plan. So we filled in what I took out, and then let's roll the Outlaw Dice. All right, so 6, 3, 3. Man, this thing is killing me. So we're going to come over for 3. It'll take 3 dice. Then nothing happens on this row, and then up here for the 3, it's going to grab the courthouse, which is a huge scorer. Oof, and it's going to take 3 gold dice. All right, so I need to catch up. This is rough. Ooh, okay, so there's a couple things on here that might be fun. Actually, I'm going to move these up a little bit because I can't see my cactus. Okay. All right, one thing I could choose to do, so I'm trying to figure out how to get some more points because this thing is kicking my butt right now, and I need to figure out like what the best way to do victory points would be. So I can take this and maybe try to get like some of these cards that have little cacti on them for cheap and like score because it's 2 per cactus. That's not a bad idea, especially because I already have 1 and this is worth 6. This one gives me a bonus for the symbol and I can pump up my storehouse and get a bunch of points that way. So, since I have a chance of building this on this turn, maybe, let's grab the carpenter first and hope for the best. So I can take 3 gold dice, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to roll them and hope that I can build. So you can't actually build across turns, you have to get it all right the first time. So, I don't want to be in that situation. One thing I do know, however, is that the total of my dice needs to be less than or equal to 11. So I need to roll low so that I can use these red dice on it. All right, so this is actually really promising. That worked out pretty good. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to get to less than 11. So let's do 5, 6, 7. And then we'll use our dice power to make this also a 3, 8, 9, 10. We have made it happen. That's actually awesome. So our carpenter has been built. The other question is there anywhere cool to put it? Actually, there is. So now I can show you something else kind of neat about how building on Main Street works. So you might have noticed that here it says you may mirror buildings. So what that means is that I'm allowed to change the orientation of buildings and kind of flip them around. So what that means here is that I'm allowed to do this. I can put gold here. Actually, let's do it here. I'll put gold, a brown base die, and exactly 1 die. So here, I didn't have spaces between the buildings, they're a little tight, but I've actually managed to fill in this part of Main Street. So that works out very nicely, I would say. And basically, you can just flip it down and put it on the other side of Main Street. So you can mirror this way, or you can mirror this way, in order to make things fit on Main Street. So I now have a carpenter. That's cool because it's worth a lot of points, and also it's worth more points if I can pick up more of these little, not these cacti, but these ones right here. So I want to grab those. That would be smart. All right, so let's replenish what I removed. A schoolhouse. Okay then. All right, so let's see what the Outlaw's up to. Okay, something similar to last time, I guess. So it's going to do 3 over here and take the saloon, plus 3 brown dice. We're already running very low on brown and gold. This is actually a disaster. Nothing happens on the gray, and then 2, the carpenter gets picked up for another 6 points for the AI. This could end next turn if the AI rolls in the same pattern, which is really hard for me. So let's go ahead and refill, and we'll come back to my turn. So I think what I'd like to do, I have to decide. I don't think I'm going to have very many turns left, so I need to see about getting something that is going to give me some bonus points. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this Barbershop and hope that I can pull off a straight. So with the Barbershop, I'm going to pick up 2. This is already depleted. Ooh. And I'll pick up another black die since they seem common. We'll roll them. So this actually worked out pretty nice, because I'm going to be able to build the Barbershop. So it says ABC, there's 2 dice. Let's just do 3 and 4. Just like that. Or, hang on, let me think about Main Street. Yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And I'll show you why. So I don't know if I'm going to get to build any more buildings. So this building got made. And we'll put it right here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it right here for any die with a brown base, so that I also score for a 1 plot space between buildings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points along here, and then a 7th point up there. So I'm just trying to do the best that I can to pull off some points. And then now the AI is going to roll. Well, let's replenish this and then kind of see what happens next. All right, so yes, the game is going to end. Once again, we have this brown die. He's going to take this and the black one. We'll take the stables. Nothing happens on this gray row. And then on the gold, the bank gets swiped away, and all 3 of these golds disappear. That means that there are now 2 totally depleted dice mines, and that triggers endgame. So it's actually time already to look at the scoring. This game is very quick. So let's go ahead and sort through the Outlaw stuff, and then we'll look at mine. So the Outlaw's difficulty level changes based on how easy or medium or difficult you want the game to be. So we're just playing normal mode. If you want it to be easier, the Outlaw basically takes negative victory points every time it gets 2 buildings in a single turn, which would have really helped me this turn because it had just so many rounds where it took lots and lots of buildings that were pretty high value. You can also make it harder by giving the AI extra bonuses for collecting sets of symbols. So, you know, depending on the kind of player you are, how advanced in the game you are, you can change things up. So this is going to be really rough on me. So first, I'll also look at his horse. Okay, so the AI is going to score an extra point for every boot on these cards. So you have 6, 7, 8, and we'll handle that in a second. 14, 16, 22, 24, 30, 33, 38, 43, 45, 46, 47, 48 points, and then -2 puts it at 46. So the AI scored 46 points off of the cards that it picked up. I don't think I got 46 points, but let's see how I did. So let's have a look at my own cards. So I had 2, 4, 7, 13, 15, plus 1 for my outhouse, that's 16. And then we will look at my carpenter bonus. So I had 1, 2, 3 small cacti. So that takes me from 16 to 22. So we had 6 on. 2, 4, 6. So I'm at 22 points. And then we can look over at Main Street and see. Oh yeah, I had these 2 black dice stacked here. That's what they were for. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So I got 33 points to the AI's 40. I can't remember what it was. It was in the 40s. They beat me. So this is actually a pretty tough little game. You really have to optimize what you're taking and hope that your dice roll well in order to get the AI, because it runs off with the game pretty quickly. But it's a cute game. It's quick. And I hope that you enjoyed this little solo preview of Tumble Town from Weird Giraffe Games.